So you don't think City will win the treble this season?
I think it's unlikely. It's certainly possible, but I think it's
But you
unlikely.
don't think so?
No, and it's the reason is there's 3 component parts to winning the treble, right?
Yeah.
So they have to beat Real Madrid and beat whoever in the final.
Yeah.
They have to beat Manchester United, and they have to win the league, right? But I mean, you can work it out for yourself how likely it is, right? What is the percentage chance that City win the Premier League?
I'd say 70%,
Okay.
30% for Arsenal. And I think, I'll tell you what, I think City will drop points against Everton this weekend.
Okay, there's another bold prediction we give you for free, but let's say,
Thank you.
sorry, so 70%.
Yeah.
What is their percentage chance that they win the FA Cup?
I go 60-40 because I really believe United over one game can cause them problem by defending and not playing much.
And what is the percentage chance that they win?
55-45. I believe if they beat Real Madrid, then they're going to win the final, whether it's Milan or Inter in the final.
Okay, you say 55%. You said 51% chance to
No, I
beat
said
Real
51
Madrid.
or 55. I said.
Okay, well, if you gave them a
I
55%
give
chance
them
of Real
55.
Madrid, then it's a 100% chance that they'll beat whatever team from Milan in the final.
Yeah, but right now they haven't beaten Real Madrid yet, so
Okay,
55%.
okay. So the way you establish
Yeah.
is you multiply
Yes.
these 3 percentages together, right?
Yeah.
And so
It's
0.7 times 0.6 times 0.55, it's around, what do you say, 23%?
Yeah.
Something like that. So it's less than a 1 in 4 chance of them winning
Yeah.
the treble using your percentages,
Yeah,
which
yeah.
mine would be a little bit lower, like I said. But
Yeah.
so
No, I know it's tough. I think they can do it. I think they've got the squad to do it.
no, I think they can. Nobody's doubting that they can do it. I think more likely than not, winning a treble, especially for an English club, is extremely, extremely difficult.
Yeah.
Right.
But
And,
okay.
and I think we're just taking for granted, like, oh, look, they're on track. They'll do it. It's really, really hard. If they do it,
No,
it's a
it is
tremendous
hard.
achievement.
It's incredible. It's incredible. But I still think that they've got enough to beat Real Madrid next week. I think in a way for us, for them, for Pep and Carlo and the players, it would have been better to have a 2-week break between the 2 semi-finals, like it used to before. Now, the fact that they're back-to-back, one is a Tuesday, the following one is a Wednesday, there's no time in between. There will be a league game that Real Madrid don't care about, let's be honest here, because La Liga is gone. But City really care about going to Everton on Sunday afternoon. But I think everything the City players have in their head right now is that second leg. I can guarantee you they don't care about Everton. Pep is going to say, no, it's game after game and we focus on Everton. No, and he's going to rotate heavily, surely. Because that game next week is so huge for them. And I really think that after what they did at the Bernabeu, in the way they didn't give away too much to Real Madrid, they were good in position, they defended really well on Vinicius. Of course, he scored, but that's only the second goal I think in his career outside of the box. So, and again, we said the XG was 0.06. It was
Right.
never going to happen.
I don't
But
think the
defending-
XG for De Bruyne's goal was much higher, by the way.
No, but you've seen more De Bruyne scoring goals like that than Vinicius scoring goals like that, right?
Yeah, no, I would agree with that.
So I think they defended really well on Vinicius, which I think came to the detriment of what they did with the ball going forward, for sure. Because you was clearly, especially we were quite high up at the Bernabeu, and you could see that they were just not committing too much forward because they knew that as soon as they lost the ball, there would be danger. And by the way, the goal from Vinicius doesn't even come from that. But the run by Camavinga is so amazing that it just opened up their whole defense and midfield.
Part of the reason I'm so excited for the second leg is Manchester City, I think, are a better side than Real Madrid. If they were in a league, I would expect Manchester City to win it, right? But, and we've talked about this before, matchups. They match up, Real Madrid match up really, really well with Real Madrid, so with City, because of the characteristics they have. You mentioned Vinicius there, right? Vinicius forces Pep to disrupt the way he plays. And I don't know, is Nathan Ake going to be fit for the return leg?
So, yeah.
Then you have another call to make, because I presume you keep Walker in the side, right? But then that means, for now at least, Manchester City aren't allowed to play with 12 players. So I'm assuming, does Akanji go out? Do you bring Ake back in? Again, that's a disruption. That's a change. The goalkeepers, you go back to this. Ederson can, on his day, can be a phenomenal goalkeeper. I think Courtois, though, is on a different level. And he's shown it, and he's done it before. Benzema didn't show up. Benzema is He's got an unusual skill set, right? That's something to think about.
It was very important sometimes to beat the press, though. Not that City pressed too crazy for the reasons that we mentioned already, but when they did, Benzema dropping in midfield, getting the ball. I mean, the first... You might have not liked the game because you thought it was too cagey, and with the players on the pitch, I think some people...
Who didn't like the game?
No, because I think maybe some people expected before the game to have this incredible match where you would attack and with this, and in the end, especially the first half, when a team has 32% of the ball, Gab, and they're playing at home with the players that Real Madrid have, it's not
the other team's attacking.
No, but still, but I think some people wanted maybe a more of an open game, which I completely understand. However, the technical level of that game was just out of this world, and Benzema's first touches through the whole game was just incredible.
No, and I think it's also a big thing too that players like Kroos and Modric, they can't do it week in, week out at the level they used to. But for a one-off game with the adrenaline, with the horse placenta in Modric's case, of course. They can achieve tremendous things. Yeah. And that's what makes, I think, this game so interesting, so exciting. A couple other things in the game I want to touch upon. One, Real Madrid very angry. Carlo very angry. Got booked as well. The fact that De Bruyne's goal, the ball went out of play. You know me, I love Carlo, but I don't know. You can get angry with the linesman for not seeing the throw-in, but you can't get angry with VAR or the referee. I think the referee has no vantage point whatsoever to be able to determine whether the ball went out of play. VAR cannot intervene because so much happened between that and the goal.
I mean, twice they recovered the ball. So twice they lost it.
Yeah, it's not like you can rewind the tape back 20 minutes.
But the linesman, the only thing I would say is, because when we didn't see a replay until really late, and then suddenly we didn't see what I think beIN Sport had with the line and the ball from above, clearly showing that it was out of play. But the linesman was in a really good position to judge it. So he made a mistake clearly. I think it's a really hard call to make. But yeah, I still think that it's a long shot to blame it on that, to blame the goal on that, basically.
No, I agree with you. I want to touch upon one of the guys' performance. We're both big Bernardo Silva fans. I thought his performance, the way he played in this game, this is slightly in keeping with perhaps the more conservative version of Pep that we saw. But do you think he had a good game?
No. And we said before, it made sense to start him because of the pressing machine that he is, and we saw that against Bayern. The thing was, they didn't actually press that much because of the more cautious approach that they had, and because they had a lot of the ball. And then he gets beaten. I mean, Camavinga is his player, really. And the goal, that 1-2 with Modric, I think Rodri is too high anyway. And then it's a bit too easy for Camavinga. But yeah, the problem is he didn't really test Camavinga, who's not left back, enough for my liking that Mahrez would have done more. And then he leads us nicely onto Pep not making any changes, which he did in Leipzig, if you remember, for the last 16 first leg, where it was 1-1 and didn't change anything at all. Does he do it because he thinks that, one, his team is getting good results, and two, they're well organized and well into the game, that if you change something, the new player coming in, for example, might have not the same impact of the guy that you took off? It's still very strange when you've got Foden, Mahrez, Alvarez on your bench, for example, not to bring on any of them.
But it's fascinating. I'm going to write a column about this week because he's kind of like the polar opposite to Simone Inzaghi, who programs his changes ahead of time and uses, I think, all 5 changes. He's used them almost every game they've played this season. Personally, I think the psychological blow of getting another goal, and I would think so many of his players have been there for a long side. I don't think you're necessarily destabilizing the side by bringing in a Mahrez or a Foden or an Alvarez in that situation. I think you're putting on a guy with fresh legs who can give a new look and force Real Madrid to adjust. And then you go for the win. Because psychologically, winning 2-1...
But maybe you don't want to go for the win. Because if you go for the win, you might also expose yourself a bit more and concede one.
Possibly, but I mean, all you have to do is score 1 goal, and then you take it to extra time, and I mean, you have to. There's obviously give and take, right?
Yeah, of course.
But I'll tell you what, I guarantee you 1,000% if he doesn't make any changes and Real Madrid nick a goal, it's going to be the Pep overthinking brigade again. Oh, why didn't he make a change late in the game? No question about it. Whenever Pep does something that is not predictable, he gets the overthinking label. Right?
Yeah, which is wrong. You're right. But I just don't think they were in such a dominant position in that second half to say, like, if he had brought on Mahrez or Foden, they would have gone and win the game. Because Grealish was still defending on the 90th minute, and so was Bernardo. And there's a lot of managers who will tell you, when things are working the way you want them to work, what would you change? And unless Grealish had said, I can't run anymore, I can't follow Carvajal up and down, if Bernardo had said the same, what would you... Do you see what I mean? I know that fresh legs would have been an extra threat for Madrid, but on the other hand, you're saying, like, my team is doing exactly what I want it to do now, what would I change?
I don't know. I see your point, but I also think it's a bit counterintuitive to the spirit of City, which is to go out and to win every game. I understand why he did it. I think if he did it because he thinks this gives me the best possible chance of winning this game right now, not because he was necessarily being conservative in not making those changes. Because he could have made defensive change, more defensive changes. All right, let's wrap it up. But what?
Who?
What do you mean?
Rico Lewis.
I mean, some people suggested Rico Lewis.
Yeah, you can't.
No, I wouldn't go that far. But even like if you bring in Foden. And you say, like, Grealish has been tussling with Carvajal the whole game or whatever, go and help out defensively. And if you see an opening, go forward, get forward, whatever. You can do that. You're still bringing in.
You can.
Even Mahrez, if you want, is just fit. Mahrez will presumably give you more if he's fresh, right?
I think he's tough to come on in a game like this with 10 minutes to go. I really do.
I want to touch upon two Real Madrid things. Obviously, you mentioned Camavinga before and him coming inside, Modric going covering his wing. I really likes that. We go back to this not natural left back. I'm asking you this because you know more about Camavinga than I do. And obviously, this is a guy who made his debut at 16. So he did not have a very long youth career.
No.
But I've heard people tell me that in his career, and I want you can tell me, A, if this is true, and B, if it's relevant, that he started out as a striker. He played center back for a number of years, and then made his debut in central midfield. Obviously, this was, 4 years ago now, right? I wonder, is this like, okay, first of all, most professional footballers played striker when they were like 6 or 7 because they're more technical.
Which I think in his case is true.
It's probably, but it's also kind of irrelevant, right?
Yeah, completely.
Did he play central defender at youth level that you've heard of? And
so I saw him in the under 15 French League final, if you want, the equivalent of the academy competition that you have at that age. And he was already the best midfielder that I'd seen in a very long time. So he might have played centre-back before, I don't know, at under 12 level. But
maybe because he's the kind of guy who became, because he's not very tall, but maybe he grew up, he developed earlier, so maybe at 12, I don't know.
I would find the striker bit when he was in grassroots football,
believable,
for sure.
Yeah. They all played striker.
Yeah. But no, after that, I just think... and
actually, David De Gea probably didn't. Yeah, I'm willing to bet David De Gea never played centre forward in his career.
Yeah. The thing that amazed me the most, and we don't have to go too long on Camavinga, but I will repeat it again because I've said it already. Left back is a position that he doesn't like playing in. That prior to the World Cup in Qatar and the game where he played there against Tunisia, the third game of the group stage, had never ever played in that position before. And yes, he makes a mistake on the De Bruyne goal because his ball across the pitch that Rodri intercepts and then he leads to Grealish and the goal from De Bruyne. And I think it was maybe not a bad ball to make, but it's the kind of ball that is a good ball to make if you make it, if you see what I mean. And he should have maybe not played the pass, not played the ball that way. But before that, not just on the goal, I just thought it was amazing. For a 20-year-old who really only has 4 months in that position, and even still on and off, because against Liverpool, for example, he played in midfield. Yeah. So it's just incredible. And in a position, again, that he doesn't like playing. And he says it openly. He says it publicly. Again, he was on French television after the game saying, no, this is not for me. This is not my position. I don't like it. I play there because the coach asked me and I want to help the team. So for him, that's why I tweeted during the game, imagine if he liked playing there. It would be even better.
Which brings us neatly to what we might see in the return leg from Real Madrid. Obviously, Eder Militao fit again.
Yeah.
We're discussing out there. I think 100% Militao starts.
Okay, I'm not so sure.
100% Militao starts. The question is it Militao and Rudiger? Do you move Alaba to left back? I think Militao and Rudiger slightly clunky. I think it's going to be Militao and Alaba.
And you keep Camavinga left back.
And you keep having a left back. I think
that works.
That's what's going to happen, right?
But
you were saying you prefer to see Rudiger than Militao?
I'm just saying, after the performance that Alaba and Rudiger had in this first leg, in a way, if Carlo doesn't change it and keeps them in that second leg, you could not say like, oh yeah, Militao had to come back. And also Militao hasn't been the greatest in the last 4 to 8 weeks when he played. I think Rudiger did a great job, and you said, yeah, but you don't want him to be sent off in the second leg. Okay, of course, he's always on the limit. Right. Of course, I get that. I just think that I just like this partnership between Alaba and Rudiger. I love Militao, and I think he's going to be one of the best defenders in the world very, very soon. I just don't know. I think it's like, I mean, again, we go back to the thing. Why would you change something that has worked so well already? That's all.
Because it worked well in one game, in one circumstance, and you have somebody better coming in.
Yeah,
I think that's how Carlos
fair
enough. Going to see it. But anyway, I am already getting excited for this game.
Well, thank you very much for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming, premium content, and let's not forget as well, ESPN FC 7 days a week. Subscribe to ESPN Plus.